5 to 7. The return to school has been expensive for most, unachievable for some. Latest data shows 1 month into 2024, the Ministry of Social Development received more than 21,000 requests for help with school-related expenses. Whether it's uniforms, stationery or school fees, caregivers are feeling the pressure. Charitable organisation Variety's also noticed a significant uptick in requests for support from grandparents caring for their grandchildren. Grandparent Carolyn Folas joins us now alongside Susan Glasgow from Variety. Morena kia korua. Thank you both so much for being with us. You're fine, Carolyn. You're going to be great. Tell me about your situation with your grandchildren. How many do you have living with you at the moment?
At the moment I have 3.
Yeah. And what ages are they?
11, and one of them has just turned 15 on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, beautiful.
And 22-year-old.
So how did you end up with your grandchildren?
The parents got into some kind of difficulty, and I didn't want my children to end up in the system. So that is how I got my grandchildren.
And what is it like? I mean, obviously you love your grandchildren, but tell me about the cost and how that impacts on you and them, I guess.
The cost of living has skyrocketed, and for me being a widow, I've found that it's very, very difficult to get the basics, and I make sure that my grandchildren have everything they need, even if we have to wait a wee while for me to save. And I will go without so that my grandchildren don't have to.
When you say go without, what are you talking about?
I won't eat because there's not enough, because the pension doesn't do it, really. And with Variety, because I went into Variety, and even with the amount that I do get, my grandson was able to go to school in a brand new uniform. And that is what I use the Variety money for, is so that he doesn't sort of feel out of place or anything like that.
I saw the big smile. You've got tears in your eyes, but you've got a big smile on your face because you know how much that means to him to have that uniform.
It does.
Yeah. Susan, listening to Carolyn's story, you're hearing that a lot.
Yeah.
In Variety. So talk to me about that.
5% of our caregivers that we work alongside are grandparents looking after their grandchildren for whatever reason. And so they're putting themselves out there to ensure that their grandchildren are loved and cared for and have all the things that they want. I had a granddad on the phone the other day talking about, he had cancer, his wife had type 1 diabetes, they were looking after 5 grandchildren, and his biggest concern was, how is his wife going to cope when he dies? And how is she going to look after 5 grandchildren?
Carolyn, I want to go back to your mokopuna, your grandchildren. How amazing are they?
They are terrific. I would give my life for my grandchildren.
Yeah. Any
of my grandchildren.
Do you feel, and I know this is part of who you are and who our grandparents are in looking after our babies, but you're in a situation, do you feel like this is something you have to do? I mean, I know you wouldn't have it any other way, but that you have to do.
Look after my grandchildren?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't feel comfortable. They are my blood. They are my treasures.
Well, can I just say you're an amazing grandmother?
Thank you.
And your grandchildren are incredibly lucky to have you.
Thank you
So
very
thank
much.
you both so much for being with us this morning. We really appreciate it. Carolyn Folas and Susan Glasgow, Variety CE. And actually, if you are interested in sponsoring a child and helping grandparents who are currently on the waiting list for a Kiwi Kids sponsor, please head to variety.org.nz.